Michele.
Awesome. Hey everybody, thank you for joining us out there. We've got a live studio audience right now, and we've got some folks. We've got some.
I don't know what video showed up. Keep
Pod-
going.
Podcast.
Okay, all right, great.
Technical
We're
difficulties,
having
it's
some
all
technical
good.
difficulties.
Technical
to start off,
difficulties,
that's
but you know
okay.
what? That's what happens when you go live, right?
Yep.
Anyway, we are going to be producing and presenting a home buyer workshop for those folks that happen to be in the studio here. We are at Link Realty. And again, we're just getting
Keep going, Michele.
some
Keep
technical difficulties. This is just awesome. Yeah, anyway. My name is Michele Urbanowski, and I make up one half of the Shelltown team, and my lovely partner, Shelly Valdez, is...
Hi there.
There you go, right here. Like I said, together we're the Shelltown team. We work with Century 21 Link Realty as your hometown Florida realtors. And we're going to go over various aspects of the home buying process. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or a seasoned home buyer, veteran if you would, if you're looking for your first home, single family, condo, townhome, or if you're looking for an investment property or a vacation home, whether you're in the state of Florida or you're looking to move to Florida, we're going to kind of go over a brief overview of the process.
Yes, and we have a very competitive market right now, which is why we were doing this. We felt like we needed to educate people. So if you're thinking about buying, whether it's now, whether it's 6 months from now, or just sometime in the future, we want to help you understand the process better to make you more aware of choices and all of the aspects that go into it. Because the more you know, the more educated you are, the easier the process will be. So. That's kind of our goal, and that's why we decided to do this today, because there's a lot that goes into it, and you don't really do it more than a couple times in your lifetime unless you're an investor.
And it's almost, once you do it, you kind of like release it from your mind, you know,
Right,
and you
exactly.
forget about the process because many years have gone by. So after we have a representative from our title company speak a little bit about title information, and a representative from the financial aspect of it, a lender. Shelly and I are going to come back on and kind of go over a brief overview, like I said, about the home buying process, as well as how you at home or here in the studio can become a stronger buyer, especially in today's market, and why it's so important to enlist the assistance of a buyer's agent, a realtor, to represent you as a buyer. Okay?
Because if you go into it and you don't really know what you're doing, that could hurt you ultimately.
Exactly. So
So you
we're
try to
going
do it on your own, it can
Yeah.
be very confusing. So.
And we're gonna close up with that and why it's so important. We'll give you all of our contact information, but I do want to start by saying very briefly, if you have any questions about today's presentation, or any questions at all, even about selling. By the way, we are going to do a home selling process, and that will be in the very near future. But if you have any questions, please direct them to either myself or Shelly. You can instant message us. We are streaming live on Facebook. Mine, Shelly's, Carlos Ramos as well with Guild Mortgage, and we'll give you our contact information at the end.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think it's important that, the process starts with obviously contacting somebody and letting them know that you're ready to buy, and talking with the realtor, having a little bit of a meet and greet session on the phone, and discussing what you want, what you absolutely have to have, your price range, all of that kind of stuff, and just kind of letting somebody know that you're looking. After that, the most important part of the process is contacting a lender. As realtors, we have lenders that we love to work with, but you can certainly choose your own lender of your choice. So the lender will come in and let you know exactly how much you'll qualify for, because you can't really go looking for a house without a pre-approval in hand. in order to make any offer on a home, you have to have that to go with the offer. So we're going to go ahead and hand it over to Carlos. He is from Guild Mortgage today, and he's going to tell you a little bit about the lending process.
Just a little bit.
All right. Hello, everyone. I know we had some technical difficulties, but we're back. We're here. We're live right now. We have Tisha in the audience right here. So we have 3 cameras rolling right now. So hopefully, you will all get this one way or another.
That's right. We'll
Yeah.
maybe looking at you or somewhere else.
All right. So we're gonna do like an open forum here. We're going to talk about mortgages. My role in the process. Tim's role, like Michelle said, and the 2 lovely young ladies here. So my role is to help you as a consumer get into a house with a home mortgage. Now that the first process is just going to be a nice conversation that we're going to have between you and myself. We're going to talk about the pre-qualification stage. Now the pre-qualification stage is just going to be you and I talking. You're going to tell me how much you make, where you work, what you think your credit is like, because we haven't gotten to that point yet, and how much you have in the bank and what you're looking for. So I'm going to ask you questions, and on that aspect of it, and the most important question is, how much do you want to pay? Because everybody, wants to get into a house and think, I want a $400,000 house, $300,000 house, but they're not going to know what that monthly payment is, and we got to make sure that you understand what you can afford. Okay, that's the biggest thing with the house. So that's stage number 1, pre-qualification, and that's just talking. Now you can tell me whatever you want. You make $1 million a year, $2 million a year, you can say whatever you want. I'm going to believe you because we're just talking on the phone. And now we're going to move over to stage number 2, which is the pre-approval process. Now guess what? Prove to me that you actually make $2 million a year. Show me your pay stub, show me your W-2, show me your tax returns. All that is now, if you prove all that to me, I'm going to write a letter that's a pre-approval letter that now I can give to Michelle or Shelly and say, okay, they are pre-approved, they can actually go look for a house. Okay? In this market that we're in right now, this is not a pre-qualification market. This is a pre-approval market or full approval.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you got step number 1. So just to recap, pre-qualification is step number 1. That's just you and I talking. Step number 2 is the pre-approval process. Now you have to give me all your documentation. I look at your credit, all that stuff to make sure you're good to go. And now let's talk about step number 3. Now if we want to take it a step further to get you into the house with these ladies, we got to get you into our processing and underwriting center. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take all that information that you give me, make sure it's all up to date, question any deposits in that bank statement, make sure you make what you say you make. Maybe we need tax returns, maybe we don't, maybe we just need one W-2. Keep it going smoothly, and then get you over to our underwriting department to get you approved. Now, if we can get you approved before you make an offer, that is way stronger than a pre-approval letter.
It is.
It is. It's a loan commitment. So once you get that loan commitment in place, now what happens is, guess what? You just finished a whole week of the process. So now you can go make an offer and say, hey, I can get you closed in 23 days. Makes you a lot stronger. So it's important that whoever you're working with, it's either myself as a lender or another lender. If they can do that TBD file and get you into underwriting, it's going to help your file be a lot stronger when you make an offer with Shell or Michelle.
Can I just add something to that? If they're
Sure.
not quite ready to be pre-qualified or pre-approved, you can also help them or tell them what they need to do in the future, correct? Because I think that's a big fear of people.
Yeah.
They don't want to call unless they feel like they're ready.
That's right. There's a lot of people right now, credit, it comes down to credit and money. It really does. When buying a house, it's credit. Either maybe you have some slight credit issues, big credit issues, whatever it may be, or maybe you have good credit and you don't have the money to buy a house right now, and we can look at down payment assistance programs if you qualify, because there are, qualifications you have to meet for down payment assistance. Credit, we can look at it, I'll analyze it, put a plan together to try to get you into a home. Maybe if it's not now, maybe we can get you into the home in a few months or a year. I have a great credit repair guy right now. I can give him a call and put him in touch with them and put all that together. I think people need to understand, don't get discouraged if you can't buy a house right now. It may not be your time, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you're not going to buy a house in the future. Don't give up. Just work on the goals, the plans that we put in place as a lender to get you into that house in the future. So that's important.
So you're kind of like their guide to tell them exactly what to do.
Correct, yeah. We want to make sure that we put them on the path of home ownership.
Yes.
For sure. You know, so all that really comes into play. That's really the basics of the whole beginning of the mortgage process. The loan process usually takes about 30 days or less, depending on which program you use. You can do as little as 3% down for conventional, 3.5% for FHA. And if you're a veteran, you can. There is no money down for a veteran. You do have closing costs. I think that's a lot of things. Misconception a lot of people have is if you're a veteran and you don't think you need any money, it's incorrect. You do need funds for closing costs. That's very important to understand. Prepaids, all that good stuff right there. What else am I missing? I mean, it's a lot.
That was a lot.
That's a lot. It's a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, definitely a lot.
Yeah. And that's only the beginning. So there's more to it. But that's why you want to sit down and really understand. You're not buying a bike. Okay, you have to understand that. You're buying a house. This is a big process.
Could be the biggest investment in someone's life.
In someone's life, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to understand what it's going to be like from beginning to end. You know, it's like, I'm going to use this analogy. It's like a plane ride. We've all been on a plane, unless you're afraid of planes and you only drive. But forget the car ride. But if you're on a plane, when you take off, it's nice and smooth, right? So everything's smooth, everything's comfortable. Well, once you get up in the air, anything can happen. Turbulence, right? So that turbulence can be anything. Hey, underwriter saw something, they need to verify that deposit. They need another bank statement, they need a pay stub. That's the turbulence part of the plane ride of home ownership. Okay? Now once we get all that together, the air smooths out, the plane ride is nice and smooth,
Yep.
and then your loan is all set, we get you into the closing department, we get you ready to land so you can be on the ground, kissing the ground when you get off the plane, and have the keys to your new house. So look at it that way. A lot of people think buying a house is like horrible. It's going to be the worst process ever because so many people have gone through crappy lenders out there. Yes, I said it. Right? They didn't work with me, so they're crappy. So a lot of things, but you have to look at it that way. Like, you know, you're taking off on a plane. It could be bumpy, it could be smooth. It depends on you out there, and that's the consumer. If you're watching this, it's not really always us or the realtors or title. If you have stuff going on in your bank statements and you're doing stuff you're not supposed to do, I'm going to point it out, and we have to clean it up, okay? You may think cash is good. Cash is not good when buying a house. The old school mattress money, those days are over. You can't do that. You have to have your money in the bank for at least 2 months. We verify 2 pay stubs, 30 days of pay stubs, 2 months of bank statements, 2 years of tax returns, and 2 years of W-2s if needed. Right? So the 222s. All right, so you have to understand, really get deep, sit down, take your time, be patient. So somebody like myself, Michele, and Shelly can break it all down for you. I don't want to put it in your face.
It's all good. It's all good.
Right?
No, you're definitely solidifying why you
Yeah.
need such a great team.
Correct.
And it is a team effort that helps guide you.
Yeah, correct. 100%.
Yeah.
So now that's my portion of it because I can sit here all day and talk about this. Now we have Tim. So now Tim, you know, I'll let you get in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks,
you
Carlos.
You switch me.
And I welcome Tisha into our Facebook audience today. Like Carlos was saying, and Shelly, Michele, it does take a team effort. And when you first sign that contract is a very pivotal role because you'll be instructed by your buyer's agent now to make what they call an earnest money deposit, which is very crucial in our business right now. So the EMD, as we call it for short, earnest money deposit, is going to be made, and we're going to take that deposit in. Now, when I talk about the deposit, you're not going to get the wire instructions from your real estate agents.
No.
You're going to get it from us, and we're going to walk you through it. We're going to send you an opening package portal, which you actually can go online and do it. You can do it right at your laptop. But if you're old school, we can still do it the old-fashioned way. We'll just anticipate the wire. We'll post that wire. In this way, that deposit now secures you to that contract. So the contract, as I say in a transaction, is the Bible. We go by that. We live off what's in that contract. So date and time specific is a very, very important thing, and Michele will probably touch on that, especially in this ever-changing market.
So let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about earnest money deposit because a lot of people don't understand when they go to buy a house that there is a deposit that's needed on the property.
There is.
What would you say is an average percentage of somebody should have in a house?
I would say for in today's market, somewhere between 1% to 2% but that actually is part of what could also make you a very strong buyer. Because if it's down to a multiple offer situation, which it has been in almost every transaction in the past few months, it has been multiple offer situations.
Yeah.
And it's down to just looking at not people, but offers on paper. It could be down to who's putting the most amount of earnest money deposit within 3 days.
Yeah. So
And
did you hear that, everyone? I hope you
Yeah.
guys all heard that. The more money you put down will help
Yes.
your offer.
Yes.
There's no
Make
doubt
a
about
it.
stronger offer.
It shows that you as a buyer have more skin in the game and you really want this house. It comes down to that.
And what Michelle said, time is of the essence.
Yeah.
So you have to be very, very cognizant of the time on that contract, when the real estate agents are saying, because once the listing agent presents that offer to his seller, you're on the clock. And I mean you're on the clock. And Tisha, and to my audience out there, our audience, you have to be cognizant of that and listen to that. You can't say, well, I'll get it tomorrow, or I'm waiting for my paycheck to clear on Friday. Because what that means is it's going to open up the gate for someone else to get an offer in and get that property. Because
Yes.
right now, what's happening out here is the properties are going fast and furious, like we've never seen before.
Way fast.
So once I get that earnest money deposit in, and I'm ready, our department will call you, our processors in my office will be calling you,
Yes.
and talk to you and walk you through the process of what's going to happen. Whether it's a VA, FHA, Govy loan, or whether it is cash, or whether it is conventional.
Yeah.
And once you sit down with Carlos, we'll get to work with his team, as well as Shelley and Michelle. Tell them what's going on, and we've already touched base with the lender, have our closing date in mind, if it's 30 to 45 days, when the inspection periods, and when you hit different milestones in the transaction. That's a key word, milestones
Yes.
in a transaction.
Yeah, let me stop you there for a second.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm getting before.
So just,
You know this is a great segue.
yeah. So that means, okay, so let me put it in layman terms. Don't go on vacation when you buy a house, okay? Because that happens. So I mean, it's happened to probably all of us in here. You think you sign a contract, you think you're done with the deal, and that's it. You take a cruise, and we can't find you, and we're trying to do the loan
Yeah.
process. That's not how it works.
You have to be accessible.
Yeah, if you're buying a house, then
Yeah.
that is your main focus for the next 30 days.
And don't buy new furniture for
No-
your house.
no furniture,
I think
no
that's
car.
common too. People go out, they're like, oh, I need a new couch.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
cars, none of that stuff.
Right.
Like, the concentration is getting you into that house.
Bottom line is listening to your professionals.
Yes.
And that's why you employ them. Whether you're working with Michelle and Shelley and Carlos or myself, listen to your professionals, because we've been at it for a long time. So we're trying to help you get into the process. It can be a little tedious at times when the lender's asking you for one more letter, or the real estate agent says you have to be at your home inspection. So it does get that, or the title company's asking you for a little bit more information.
Yep.
Because the communication, when it breaks down in closings, is what delays a closing.
Yeah.
It's not anything
Yes.
else, but it's communication. So once I get that title ordered and I get my stuff back from my courthouse and my plant, we look it over, we issue what we call a title commitment. We go over that title commitment with a fine-tooth comb and give it to the lender and the real estate agents to go over and look it over to make sure that I can clear the title. There's nothing else against it that the seller didn't tell us about or anything else we have to clear. And then we go on and proceed and work with the lender to go ahead and get that clear mortgage commitment. So we have a clear to close, and we can do what they call a closing disclosure, balance to the CD. So when closing date starts approaching, we're working with it tediously with the lender to get that package in and get you in on time to sign the documents. Now, on closing day, whether it's going to be a mail away, if you can't come into our office, we can take care of that, or you're going to come into my office and close. We're going to need 2 forms of ID. And we're going to go ahead and go over the package with you, the closing disclosure, so everything matches. You'll have that beforehand. So you'll have those numbers beforehand, so you can go over with Michelle and Shelley, those numbers, and Carlos, if need be, to make sure that everything on your sheet, when you did the prelim, matches, Tisha. So everything you get and our audience out here. So that's a key thing. If something's a little out of whack, if they told you, Carlos said, oh, it could be tied into a various amount of things I don't want to get into, I'm just giving you an example, maybe taxes or something in that range, but we can always go ahead and tweak it and get it fixed, because I need Carlos's help at this point in time to go ahead and make sure everything's at balance. I have to have information from the real estate agents as well, and once I get that, then we sign everything, we get it back to Carlos's company, they look everything over, and they say, ooh, everything looks good, and we have closing. The happiest day is when I'm able to hand the keys over, shake your hand, until let's go to the next transaction, so.
Yep.
Exactly.
But that's it, so that's the title role in basically in a transaction.
And when you said 2 forms of ID, I will add, the driver's license should not be expired.
Yes.
I've run into that before,
Yeah,
so make sure you look
You
at the
never
date.
know.
I've actually had clients that had to go to the DMV the day of closing.
Actually,
Yeah.
Please make sure.
Yes.
And sometimes the second form of ID doesn't always have to be a picture ID.
Okay.
Some lenders do require second forms of ID these days, especially what's going on. So I always tell everyone, just bring your wallet or your pocketbook in and make sure you have some IDs on you so we can verify who you are.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, so if you have any lending questions, title questions, definitely reach out to myself or Tim, or reach out to Michelle and Shelley, and they'll put you in touch with the 2 of us.
Absolutely.
I think that's from our end of the aspect of the side of the loan, that's on us. So now, once we're there, we give it back to you guys.
Okay. Michelle's going to talk to you a little bit about what makes a good, strong contract, because that's what you need nowadays. And she's going to tell you how to be a real strong buyer.
Absolutely.
And then I'm going to wrap it up after that.
So thank you so much to Tim and Carlos. So enlisting the help of a realtor, we have nothing but the best professionals behind us. So that's why we recommend, the best team that we have, Tisha and everybody out there. So we know that you put your trust in us. And I had mentioned earlier when I was talking about contracts, that you do want to be the strongest buyer. So it's not always, it really isn't always about what's your best and highest bid in a multiple offer situation or any offer situation, because it's not always going to be a seller's market, okay? And right now we just don't have a lot of inventory, but we do have an overabundance of buyers, so you just want to be strong, and that's what I mean about a seller's market right now. The escrow money deposit I touched upon before, that's great. You enlist the help of the realtors to make sure that we babysit the contract. So we talked about deadlines and not going away, and if you absolutely have to go away, maybe for business or something, that you want to make sure that you are accessible either through phone or voicemail or internet, email, whatever. There are certain hurdles that you have to get through. So the first one being the escrow deposit, which is typically 3 days after effective date or executed contract date. We do want to make sure that we adhere to the inspection period, and those are all things that make you a strong buyer. An inspection period can be any amount of days that you want. You want to have enough opportunity to enlist the help of a private home inspector, which always is voluntary, but we recommend it to make sure it gives you peace of mind that the home that you're buying is a solid home, okay? It might not be perfect, but we can work on that. All right, so it could be 7 days, it could be 10 days, and again, we have recommendations of great home inspectors as well. But to make you and have you be the strongest buyer, maybe you want to tighten up that inspection period. Instead of putting a 10-day inspection on a home that's kind of new, maybe you want to shorten it up a little bit, because we know inspectors are usually they can get there quickly, and that's what they're there for. And the turnaround time is usually within 12 to 24 hours to get that report back to you, okay? I also recommend a second escrow deposit in today's market. And that second escrow deposit, again, makes you a stronger buyer. It's really whatever you can put down in your earnest money. So I've been recommending, anywhere from, 7 to 10 days after effective date. Again, it shows that you as a buyer in today's market have more skin in the game. Like I said, it's not always about the highest and best. It's what's the strongest offer. Also looking at, now going back to lending, looking at what percentage are you looking to put down, and what percentage are you looking for a loan. So again, if you're looking at just people on paper, the end game, the end result is always who's going to get us to closing. That's the end game here, the landing is. We want to get to closing. So how strong are you as a buyer? Are you looking to obtain a loan and only put down 3.5%? Or can you put down a little more, which shows that you just have a little more financial backing, basically, okay? And then finally, there's more deadlines of loan commitment where we definitely talk to your lender and we babysit that deadline because it's typically 30 days after effective date. We always go back to the effective date, which is the date of the last signature on the contract. And we make sure that we don't miss that loan commitment. Or if we need an extension, or because there's a lot of things that are out of our control. And then last but not least, and because again, this is just for a brief overview, but any questions, definitely hit Shelley and myself up. We can talk about post-occupancy. Are you in a great situation where you really want that house, but you don't have a house to sell, and maybe you're renting, and you want to alleviate a little bit of stress from the seller? Because normally, when you close on a home, that's when you take possession. So think of it in the seller's mind that they're a little stressful. They really need to have their stuff out and moved out about 2 days beforehand. So you're talking about movers and packers and all of that, great stuff that goes into it. Why don't we try to alleviate that stress and offer them a little bit of post-occupancy, and then they don't have to worry about that. And you might look really strong in their eyes. We don't know anybody's motivation. We only know your motivation when you enlist the help of us, okay? So we can only presume and try to take away a little bit of stress. So that's what I meant about, enlisting the help of us. We have a team of professionals that are here to help and guide you, raise your real estate IQ. And that's, how to make yourself become the strongest buyer. Shelley?
Yeah. So I think we will kind of close. I'm going to go ahead and let you know I have created a guide that touches upon all of the different subjects that we covered today, and it just kind of is an easy guide for you to have in your hands of everything that we've discussed. If you would like this guide, you can either put your email address in the comments below, or you can private message us if you don't want your email address on Facebook. I think a couple of things that I just want to kind of add to it is, if during the inspection period, that's kind of your time to take a look at the house and see if it's still the purchase that you want to make after all of the inspections. If there's a lot of things that you're not happy about, we use an as-is contract these days, and that is the time that if you don't like what you see, you can back out and you do get your deposit back. And I think that's important for people to know, because once they put that deposit down, they're afraid to lose that money. So you do have that little bit of a buffer to kind of make decisions. So I think that's important to know. So the first thing, or the last thing I just want to say to you is just the process is exactly what you heard here today. You're going to reach out to us and tell us your likes, your dislikes, what you're looking for, your area. You'll go to, then we'll send you to a lender. You can use your preferred lender or reach out to Carlos, and he will do the pre-approval or pre-qualification right now. Hand you that, you'll know exactly what we're looking for, and that's important for us too, so that we can send you the homes that are in your price range. We'll go on a search. We will show you as many homes as you want and as many homes as we need to for you to find the one. I don't ever want you to feel like you're bothering us or anything like that. I have a lot of clients that say that to me, and I'm like, this is my job, this is what I love to do, and I'll go look at 100 homes with you if that's what it takes, because it's the biggest purchase that you're going to make.
It's not our home, it's your home. You have to live in it.
Right.
You have to be comfortable in it.
Exactly, okay? And then from there, you'll put your earnest money deposit down within 3 days, and then you'll schedule the inspections. The shorter the inspection period, the stronger the offer, okay? You have that time to research the home and schedule as many different inspections as you want. Let's say you get in there and the first inspector says, oh, we're not sure about the roof, it looks like it needs a further inspection. Well, then you could schedule a roofer to come, Or if there's a pool, you might want to schedule a pool inspection, or if there's a jacuzzi or a spa. So you could do as many inspections during that time as you want, okay? The appraisal will be after that, okay? And the appraiser's going to come in, and he's going to take a look at the home, and he's going to run comps in the area and make sure that you're buying the home for the price, the correct price, okay? So that's a very, very important part as well that I don't think we touched on too much today. In that time frame, you'll get homeowners insurance, and Carlos will help you with that, as that's part of your mortgage, you know, the price per month that you'll be paying. Then Tim will take it over, you'll get your closing disclosure, you will approve everything, you'll have a chance to look over your numbers. The final walkthrough is your last chance to go into the house and take a look and make sure, let's say during the inspections there was an issue that needed to be resolved. Well, that's when we're coming in and we're making sure that everything was fixed, or you know, anything that we negotiated along the way is complete and finished. The final walkthrough is not an inspection, it's just literally a walkthrough to make sure that the house still looks the same as when we put the offer down.
Yes.
Because the sellers are required to keep the house in the same condition. That means if we go and we show it to you and the lawn looks beautifully mowed, we can't go back at the final walkthrough and have weeds everywhere, okay? They have to keep it in the same condition. So the final walkthrough is very important. Then we have your closing, then we have celebrations. You get your pizza party, you can move in, and then you're done. You're at the end of the roller coaster ride, is what I like to say to people. It's a little bit of a roller coaster, but we try to make it as smooth as possible for you.
Yes.
So, and then we congratulations.
Yeah.
We congrats. So that's basically the process. Once again, give us your email address. You can private message me. You can private message Michelle. We will send this to you, and it makes it breaks it down a little bit. Make it in simple form for you, okay?
You can also give us a call. Our direct line, mine is 732-757-5816. You can also find me on my website, flhomesbymichelle.com.
And then I'm Shelley Valdez at 813-401-9489. And my email address is www.shelleysuperagent.com at gmail.com. I apologize. So. Or .com. You can look me up on my website as well. So.
I want to thank our audience for being here, our audience for tuning in, Carlos of Guild Mortgage and Tim of Fidelity National Title for being here as well. We are going to have a lot more question and answer. So again, hit us up for any questions or anything that wasn't answered maybe during this presentation. We will also be replaying this Facebook Live on my page, Shelley's page, as well as Carlos's page. Also look for it on Instagram as well. And thank you so much
for your time. We appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us to learn this.
Thank you.
This very important process. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
All right, now don't